I really wanted to just talk about what carbs are and how they are helpful rather than hurtful to us, and how we can better understand how to fit these foods into our diet in a realistic way. So the recommended amount of carbs that we need per day is between 40 and 60% of our total overall calories that we need in a day. And carbs are all broken down into glucose as the preferred fuel source for our body. So especially during high intensity exercise, this is the form of energy that our body can convert most efficiently versus protein and fat. So carbs are considered protein sparing, which means that the body is looking for glycogen for energy, which is the stored form of glucose, rather than breaking down muscle tissue. So this is really important if you're looking to really maintain your muscle mass and use fat and carbs as more of that fuel source. So they're the main fuel source also for our brains, our organs, our brains, our cells, our tissues. We need minimum around 130 grams of carbs per day just for those things to function well. So it's really paying attention when you're going on a very low carb diet, some of the side effects that you're experiencing with brain fog, low energy, lack of concentration, poor focus. A lot of these symptoms can be a sign that you're not eating enough overall calories and or not enough carbs during the day for your brain to be sharp and effective and do what you need to do on a day-to-day basis and show up for your life. Carbs also actually allow us to feel full and satisfied at meals and snacks, and they help to regulate our digestion. So if you're not getting enough carbs, high fiber carbs into your diet during the day, your digestion can be off, constipation, feeling bloated, those kind of things. So it's really important that we're understanding how to adequately fuel our body with carbs throughout the day. Carbs are broken down into two categories. So rather than saying good and bad, which is a lot of the times how we hear them labeled, it's more from a science standpoint. Complex carbs and simple carbs are the two categories. So complex carbs raise your blood sugar more slowly. They have a longer chemical structure that our body takes more time to break down. So we're actually more full and satisfied for a longer period of time when we have these foods, and they help to keep our blood sugars closer to a normal range throughout the day versus simple carbs that affect our blood sugar more quickly. They're broken down very quickly and they cause those spikes in our blood sugar and then those drops really fast. So temporarily we get that high or that spike, that quick energy, and then it drops and we get moody and irritable and hungry again sooner. So when we're including complex carbs in our diet, these are going to be foods that are going to have more fiber and nutrients. So vitamins, minerals, water, fiber, all of these things which our body can utilize to help our bodies run well. And these are going to be foods such as whole grains, beans, legumes, fruits, vegetables, and dairy. All of these foods have complex carbohydrate sources. And then our simple kind of carbohydrates are going to be more of our cookies, cakes, baked goods, white rice, white pasta, those kind of foods. Not that they're bad, but they're just going to affect our blood sugar more rapidly. So when we're looking to include these foods into our diet, a general rule of thumb I like to use is compromising 50% of the carbs from whole grain, high fiber, complex sources. And then the other 50% getting from more of the simple carbs. So that means, yes, you can include these things into your day. Whenever you're having more of these simple carbs, and carbs in general, you want to pair them with protein and a little bit of fat, because that's going to slow the digestion of them and again, keep our blood sugars more stable. So when you're building your meal, you want to make sure that you're having enough of these complex carb sources on your plate within your meal, and those nutrient-dense sources of carbs are actually going to keep you more satisfied later on in the day when you're blood sugar drops, you're hungry, you're irritable, you're stressed, and you're searching for one of those simple carbs that your body knows it can really efficiently use for energy. So what the biggest thing I love to hear from my clients is that when this light bulb goes off and they start understanding how, when they actually include carbs effectively at meals during the day, that they have overall less cravings, their mood, their energy is better, and they aren't binging, overeating on these other foods later on in the day. So it's really shifting this mindset around, having good or bad foods, which is just overall a mindset and relationship with food, which is also something that I'm working with my clients on, because this is just from what we've been taught with diet culture and all of these things in our faces about good and bad foods, and we're labeling ourselves based on what we eat, which is completely unfair and unnecessary, because then we feel guilty and shameful, and that's a whole nother discussion, but this is another piece of that relationship. So if we can really get more of these whole grain sources, so oatmeal in the morning, whole grain toast, having edamame, chickpeas, beans during the day, and then at dinner having also this carb source. If you're having no carbs at dinner and then wondering why you're looking for all these simple carbs later on at night, again, it's likely not getting enough of these food sources during the day. So making sure that you're prioritizing meal time, stopping and fueling your body is going to eliminate a lot of these later cravings during the day. So another one of the questions someone was asking was, I want to have maybe a glass of wine later in the day. Should I save carbs earlier in the day to have wine at night? And the answer is no. And this is the mistake that so many people make, is where we undereat or save calories during the day to save for something we want later on in the day. And this can actually set us up for overeating those foods, because at that point we're so hungry. And then also when we're drinking wine, we do get more hungry, and we're more likely to overeat some of those more highly palatable foods as well. And then when it comes to other foods like milk and fruit and whole grains, there's natural sugar that's found in dairy. So in dairy, it's coming from lactose. And then in fruit, it's coming from sucrose. And then in our whole grains, they're comprised of glucose and fiber. So this is the starch and the fiber is broken down into glucose. So all of these foods eventually turn into sugar, turn into glucose in our body, but the foods that also have fiber and also have vitamins and minerals are going to keep us well nourished and fueled and feeling so much better. So let me know if that was helpful. There's so many ways you can go with this, but that's just kind of like a quick down and dirty of carbs and how they actually can benefit us rather than be something that we need to feel bad or shameful or guilty about eating. So I hope that was helpful for you guys. If you have any questions about this, let me know, comment below. I try to go live at least once a week in here, if not more, and talking about different topics that you're hearing about or have questions about. So always let me know. I'm here to help and add value however I can. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll talk soon. Bye.